welcome back to Critical Flick. Today we're going to be talking about Sinner Season 3.
Alright, so Sinner is back on USA Network. It's one of our favorite shows, one of the things that really surprised us. We caught on board right after the first season, and we binged it, and it's been one of our favorite shows on cable.
Each season's been really intriguing. The first and second one got us, pulled us through.
Yeah.
And I was really excited to see that Matt Bomer was in this season. I was a big fan from him on the White Collar series that was also on USA Network.
Yeah, I feel like Matt Bomer has shown a lot of range in his acting ability, whether it be White Collar or, he was in Nice Guys. He was also in Magic Mike, obviously. He showed a normal heart. He's been able to show that he can play as a very serious actor, and I can't wait to see what he brings to the series. And like in the first two seasons, we're getting a completely new storyline and completely new characters other than Bill Pullman's character. But in this one, we are getting the introduction of a character named Nick Haas, who's played by Chris Messina.
And we just saw the
Birds of Prey,
Harley Quinn, and he's in that as well. And it was just funny to see him back to back in two different roles.
Yeah, I've always thought he's a pretty good actor. He's always been kind of that supporting background character in a lot of things. Obviously, a huge role in the Mindy Project, but I like seeing that he has quite a range. I mean, seeing him last night from going to seeing Birds of Prey and seeing him as Zaz, and then seeing him as this kind of creepy character in this show, he's a pretty good actor.
So in this season, you pick up with Harry Ambrose, and you see that he's trying, hang out with his daughter, have some more family time. But he gets wrapped up in a case right off the bat.
I think that Bill Pullman is just born to play this role. He's excellent as this character. Someone who's so dedicated to his work and has so many inner demons. You just see it in his eyes and his expressions. He's so worn down both physically and mentally, but he's constantly fighting back against that, trying to have a normal life but struggling with his own issues, and he's just so compelling as a character.
Yeah, I love Bill Pullman in this show. I've always liked him in the older movies we've seen him in, and I like how his character has so much depth, and we're still learning about him.
Yeah, I feel like we're always learning new things about him, his relationships, his history, his past. He's a really interesting character, and in this story, we're seeing him trying to unravel it, being that Sherlock-type guy who's just the ultimate detective, but then he's so human on a very surface level. It's, there's a lot to him, and I do enjoy him being back in the series.
So like we said, you're introduced to Jamie Burns, who's Matt Bomer's character, and you see he's a school teacher. Looks like he's living a normal life, but there's something just slightly off about him. He has these weird sensory things.
Yeah. You can obviously tell that there's a lot going on beneath the surface with this character. There's a lot going on with his past, obviously, with Nick. And I like that The Sinner always does a good job of doing that with their characters. You really never know anyone. And their characters can shift, and you can feel like someone is one way and they're a completely different way. And I feel like they've done a really good job of doing that as far as story writing in the first two seasons. And I hope they continue to capitalize on that, because the writing, in my opinion, is the strongest asset of the series.
Well, like Brian said, Jamie and Nick have a strange encounter. Nick shows up at his house, and you just get this very strange vibe, like they've known each other. There's some secret bonding relationship that happened. And Jamie just does not want Nick to be there.
So I loved the tensions of the scene when they're there, especially when he arrives and then he's at the dinner table. It reminded me a lot of a movie that I really, really enjoy called The Gift, where you have, a character from the past coming in and someone's there, the wife doesn't understand what's happening. You have that just build of tension, and the show does a great job of building tension, both in the performances and the writing and the score. It has a very ethereal, creepy score that just building to something happening.
Yes, there's a couple scenes. It just
it
kept rising and rising,
until you feel like you're waiting for it. And the show's able to grip you in a way that keeps you compelled, and that's something that the series has always done. You want to know what's going on. It hooks you in, and you're just so intrigued to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, when I first watched the first season, in the first episode, you just see Jessica Biel's character kill someone. I'm like, okay, so what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
But this show just constantly pulls you in. There's all these layers to each story to figure out what's, the true ending.
And that's the thing, is that the show has a really good hook. It has a really good ability to kind of lull you into, you think you know what's going on, and then in the last 10, 15 minutes, turns it on its head, and you're like, wait, I need to see what happens next episode. And that's always a good hallmark of a show. It always keeps you wanting to come back for more without ever making you feel like you've just been tricked or duped. I never feel like it's unmerited the way that they write this series. And I think this saga, this episode, this season in particular is going to have some of the best story writing. One of the things that I've always enjoyed about The Sinner in particular is that it has a pretty decent production to it. It doesn't feel like a cheap show. It definitely feels like something that puts a lot of effort into its world building. It has such a creepy and unnerving atmosphere to it, very misty, dark. You have a kind of forest in this, rural New York setting, mixed also with like the suburban aspects of it. I always feel like they're able to capture these stories in a way that make me just you feel like so unnerved when you're watching it.
So far in the first episode, you're starting to feel this very surreal feeling when you're watching it. You don't know what's real, like if they're imagining certain things or where the story's going to basically lead you to.
Yeah, it's always a hard thing to pull off in a series that you have the audience watching it and it's kind of this unreliable storyline. You don't know if what Jamie is seeing is real. You don't know what he's going through. And just getting into that character's mind, understanding that he is unraveling, makes him that much more interesting. I think Matt Bomer's performance, especially in the first episode, is just really good. He's showing someone who is just at odds with his life. He doesn't know what's happening. He doesn't know how to handle what he's done. We don't really know what he's done, but obviously he has a lot of things going on that he's trying to keep below the surface. Just having that bubble up to the top with Nick arriving, it was just a solid performance by him.
So far, I'm super intrigued with this season. I love Matt Bomer, and I feel like he really is portraying something so interesting in this season. And Bill Pullman, again, he's pulling you in, being that police officer, trying to solve mysteries. And I just really excited to see what's to come.
Yeah, I feel like they've built a really good cast and a pretty interesting storyline, and I am intrigued to see what happens. I was a little worried that, I really loved the first season. I really enjoyed the second season, but didn't love it as much as the first. And I feel like this one's getting back to more of the roots of what happened in the first season. So I would like that. I'd like it to be a little bit different, but have those same vibes of the original series.
Yeah, so let us know in the comments down below if you've checked out the new seasons, The Sinner. Always remember to like and subscribe. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.